Hello, my name is Bill Keach. I work for Sunbelt Computer Software, and today I'd like to talk about using PLB and adding in speech recognition. The speech recognition that we'll be using today is supported by the web view and browsers such as Edge and Chrome. Let's start off by running a sample program that's up in the sunbelt-plb.samples area and seeing what we have. So we start running the program. We call it Sunbelt Chatbot. Over here we have an icon, and the icon is showing that the microphone currently is off. Now to activate this, we will press on the button. It'll come up and ask us whether we want to use the microphone, which we do. When we do that, you'll see that the microphone button has changed now to allow to show what the microphone was on. And at the same time, you'll see that it actually put into this text edit the words that we said while we turned the microphone on. So let's do this a second time and just ask it a question. What will the weather be today? And we see that it puts into the text box, what will the weather be today? Now, let's stop here and see how all this works. To make this work, what we've done is we've used an HTML control to load in an HTML page that we put the JavaScript code in to do the speech recognition. Then we set up an event from the speech recognition to be fired off whenever the speech recognition has something to report. So now let's briefly look at the JavaScript, which is fairly simplistic. We come down, we end up having a button, that is our microphone, that displays the muted microphone. We also end up having a small div that we will stick the data that we actually get back into from the speech recognition into this area, and being able to fire off a click event as if someone had clicked on the div. Next, we have a small section of JavaScript code that first decides, is speech recognition available? If it is, then it actually shows the microphone. So if we ran that program with something that did not have speech recognition, that microphone would just not be shown. We then go and find out where the icon is so we can change it. We then set up a speech object from speech support, and we look for the start, end, and the result of speech recognition. We then also add an event listener on click on the button microphone, so that when someone clicks that little icon, that's when we would run this function. And if we were recording, we'd stop. If we weren't recording, then what happens is I set a little bit of text into the div to clean it out. I then do the start of speech recognition. When speech recognition starts, the event basically removes the muted microphone and adds in the regular microphone and sets me a Boolean that says that we're recording. When speech recognition ends, we just do the reverse. We turn the recording off, and then we remove the microphone and restore the muted microphone. When recording completes, we end up doing the following, which is we get the result of the recording, we create a click event, we set the result up in the chat question div, we stop then any speech, and we dispatch the event on the chat question div. Now, the one thing to note is that when we actually do speech recognition, we are doing it in a single mode where the speech recognition will stop once he fears a break inside the speech. There's a second mode that can be used, which is called continuous. But in this case, we'll just use the simpler mode. Now, let's see what happens on the PLB side again. So on the PLB side, as I've said, we've ended up setting a event register to the chat event. Now what happens is when we come in and we have an event which would happen once we've sent that click event. So to go back to here, this code that says dispatch event click event causes us to enter the PLB program right here. We then go and see who has sent us the click event. In this case, we end up finding that it's chat question, which if you notice that once again, this is chat question. So you can see how the div matches with the value that we get in here. We then come in and then we go and get the data that was stored in chat question at this line of code right here that sets the text up. We pull that out into our own dim called data. If data doesn't equal empty answer, right, and this is why at this spot we put an empty so that we know whether somebody's actually spoken or not, then we actually just set the prop into edit question. And then we set focus to edit question, which allows somebody to then go and edit the data that was just spoken. Now, this chatbot program has lots more good code in it for people that like to use, but this is kind of just a discussion of how we added in speech recognition. And I would like to suggest that people can go to our Sunbelt PLB.samples and download the latest, and then take a look at under our AI section at the chatbot program.